Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well and having a great Sunday night. And in tonight's weather forecast update, we're going to be talking about the weather system that'll move in midweek, and we'll also be talking about the severe weather threat that'll be associated with this system that again will move in midweek. And then we'll also take a look at our overall pattern and what we could expect over the next couple of weeks. So let's go ahead and get started with the update. So first here we'll be looking at the Climate Prediction Center, and we'll be looking at our 6 to 10 day and 8 to 14 day temperature and precipitation outlooks here. So first starting off on the left here with our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, and this is valid from February the 1st through the 5th of February. And so the Climate Prediction Center has above average temperatures expected into much of the eastern U.S. and into the kind of south central U.S. as well. And then it has areas of below average temperatures expected into the northwest and western U.S. And then looking at the precipitation outlook on the right side, again, starting valid through the 1st, starting the 1st and going through the 5th of February. And so above average precipitation is expected into much of the country, with the only exceptions being into kind of the desert southwest and into the extreme southeast into Florida as well. And then looking at the 8 to 14 day temperature and precipitation outlook here, this is valid for starting on the 3rd of February going through the 9th of February. And this was again issued today, just like the other outlook. But first, again, starting out here on the left, we're going to have below average temperatures expected into the kind of northwest, with the most confidence being into the northwest. And then below average temperatures expected into much of the western U.S. and actually much of the central U.S. as well, up into the north central U.S. and then even up to the Great Lakes as well, portions of the Great Lakes into the Midwest. And then we'll be looking at our precipitation outlook here, and this is again starting February the 3rd through the 9th. And again, above average precipitation is expected into almost the entire continental United States, with the only exceptions being into, again, portions of the desert southwest and then into the peninsula of Florida here. So now looking at our weather models here, and starting out with the GFS, and then we'll look at the European weather model in just one moment. But again, first here we'll be starting out, and this is for tomorrow, Monday. And as you can see here into the southeast, you have some rain moving in and even some snow into maybe some of the higher elevations of the Appalachian Mountains there, way up here into West Virginia, eastern Kentucky into western Virginia there. And then we also have some beneficial rain moving into the southwest, especially into Southern California, where that is much needed there. And then looking up here into the northeast and Great Lakes, kind of into Monday night into Tuesday morning, you have some light to moderate snow moving into these areas as well. So you could see some accumulations in these areas up here, and you just kind of have some sort of like a clipper system, but it's just some energy diving down here, and this is going to actually supply a little bit of cold air into these areas for sure. So that'll definitely help with that snow cover as well. And then that kind of moves out, and you get kind of maybe another little system that pops up here maybe midweek. You could again see some snow for a couple of days, especially into New York State, Pennsylvania maybe, and basically into New England as a whole there. And then we finally see our system we're going to be talking about the most in this video here emerge by Wednesday morning, and you already have rain moving out into Oklahoma and Texas by this time, again Wednesday morning. And then that trough here finally starts to sort of eject by Wednesday night, and then that moves in and amplifies even more. And I think I know we'll have a severe weather threat with this, and we'll get to that in just a second. But I'm just going to show this and the European before I get into kind of the severe weather threat of the part of the video here. But again, that system moves in, you have some pretty strong, heavy rain and storms probably moving into Arkansas, Oklahoma here, into Kansas, Missouri by midday Thursday. And again, you'll have that severe weather threat a little bit farther to the south, but still heavy rain will be associated with this. And then you will have a little bit of snow mixing in with this out maybe into Colorado, New Mexico, maybe into Kansas, but again, there's not going to be a lot of cold air into these areas right here, so snow will be limited for the most part, and this will be mostly a rainmaker actually. But that system again heads to the east and finally moves into the Midwest, the Ohio Valley by midday Friday, into the kind of mid and upper South, finally into the Southeast by Friday night. And again, that is still starts to impact the mid-Atlantic by Friday night, and you still have maybe some snow mixing in here by Friday night to early Saturday morning, this coming Saturday. And I think at the northern edge of the system, you will have some cold air in there, so you could again see a mix of wintry precipitation, but we'll have to see how that plays out. If that cold air is able to get into this, get near to this low pressure, then again you could see some maybe light to moderate snow out of this into the Northeast or Ohio Valley, even into the Great Lakes region. And then that again, basically from I would say maybe Pennsylvania points south, that'll basically just be a rainmaker for portions or mostly the entire mid-Atlantic and southeast as well. And that finally starts to move out by, I would say, Saturday night, and then it finally is fully out of the country by early on Sunday. And then after this is kind of just up in the air at the moment. We don't have a lot of confidence, but we'll look at the EPS ensembles towards the end of the video for the more long range forecast there on what would happen after that. But that's about all we're going to expect for this week. And then real quick, we'll look at the European weather model, and we can actually use the 18Z run because it is in range for the most part. And we get this going here. Still snow is again expected into the Northeast, the portions of the Midwest, North Central US, up into the Great Lakes region throughout as we get into the early portion of this week into midweek. And then again, it does show a little bit of a system developing there midday Wednesday, and again you could see some light to moderate snow accumulations into the Northeast. And then here's our main system we've been talking about here. It has it kind of ejecting, I would say, a little bit farther to the east, but still it impacts these same areas. And then it has more of a kind of a linear storm mode forming there. I would say once that gets into Thursday night into Friday. And then again, it does not show nearly as much snow with this system compared to the GFS weather model, but again, it does have a little bit there into the Northeast, New York State, maybe kind of into Ohio, more of a mix looks like there. And then again, pretty much Pennsylvania points south is a rainmaker there, and then that again moves out by pretty much midday Saturday. And that is again the 18Z European weather model for this upcoming system. Now looking at our severe weather threat, and this is for Wednesday, January the 29th. And so we already have a level 2 out of 5 risk, which is a automatic slight risk, into these areas here into portions of central Texas, and that is again for Wednesday, January the 29th in this area right here in that yellow color. And then looking at our day 5 outlook, this is for Thursday, January the 30th, and we already have again another level 2 out of 5 risk here into central Texas and into kind of a small section of southern Oklahoma as well, and that is again an automatic slight risk, level 2 out of 5 at this range. So just quickly looking at our severe weather threat for Wednesday and Thursday. And so if we look at the GFS weather model here and go to our dew points here, and if we go to Wednesday morning, you already have dew points into the 50s and 60s into kind of central Texas and southern Texas. And then by midday on Wednesday, that moisture is already ejecting to the north, and this will help to aid in that severe weather potential for Wednesday. And dew points in the mid to upper 60s is plenty moist enough for severe weather, so that's basically checked off the list there for severe weather ingredients, and then again that moisture hangs around and finally gets all the way up into southeastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana by Thursday night into Friday. And I think again we'll have another severe weather threat maybe on Friday, farther to the east, maybe into portions of the deep south there. And if we look at our low level jet for Thursday, you'll definitely have a low level jet in place with this moisture helping to aid in that severe weather threat. And I do think we could have potentially maybe a tornado risk with this, but especially with this low level jet being somewhat strong here, I guess I would definitely say actually that we could see a somewhat of a tornado risk with this as well. And then again that would move to the east, and that low level jet, if we go back here to the 850 millibar winds here, and still that low level jet continues on to the east, and I do think we'll have again another severe weather threat farther to the east, but it really won't be too strong on Wednesday. But again on Thursday, that's when we'll finally see it emerge and move on to the east. And finally here we're going to be looking at our pattern overall as we get into the next couple of weeks here. And so we'll be looking at the EPS ensembles for this. And again, these colors here, the blue color represents troughing, and the red color represents ridging, and areas of high pressure, that is areas of low pressure, in the blue color. So this is our system midweek. That trough will move in and finally get moved out of here again later this week into this weekend. And then you have ridging finally building up over to the northeast and basically the southern tier of the country here. And so that'll allow for warmer than average temperatures to kind of build into these areas where there isn't a kind of cold air supply. And you can see that on the temperature anomalies here. You again have above average temperatures into much of the country by this weekend. And then if we go back here to our height anomalies, and again you have ridging that looks like it'll build into the country by not this coming Tuesday but next Tuesday, by the 4th and 5th of January. And so again that'll help with those above average temperatures into the country here. But you could see some below average temperatures finally start to move in, I would say later this coming weekend, and then that'd be into the northwest. And you'll just have kind of this cold air supply hanging around here. But you'll have, with that ridging up into the east here, you will not have much, I would say much movement of that cold air overall, besides into the really western half of the country. And then if we go back to our high anomalies here, you're gonna basically have most of these, not most, but quite a few systems just travel up here and really go around that ridging. So you're going to have probably most of that cold air being into these areas here by the early portion of February. And I think areas farther to the west than we've been seeing, we'll see more of a winter weather threat, especially up into the central U.S., I would say for sure. And then after that, it kind of gets, the details are kind of fuzzy, and we just get out of the forecast range for at least being reliable. But that's just generally what we've been looking at. And we'll look at the GEFS ensembles here just real quick, and it shows somewhat of it kind of shows a little bit of a similar setup, but it has that troughing in the west a little bit farther to the south, and has that deeper than what the EPS ensembles is showing. But I would say the general overview, or general consensus I should say, is that we'll have systems right up here into the central US, or a little bit farther to the east into the Midwest, and that'll be probably associated with a winter weather threat as we get into early February. But that's just what I've been looking at. But really that's all we will need to watch for the next couple of weeks, and that'll be about it for the long range forecast. So that's going to be it for tonight's update. I appreciate all y'all watching, and I hope y'all have had a great weekend. I will probably try to get another video out maybe in the next couple of days, but I can't guarantee it. If I can, I'll try to get a video out before these severe weather threats. That'll start most likely on Wednesday and into Thursday. But if not, I'll probably do some shorts or just do some kind of radar updates. But again, I appreciate all y'all watching, and I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's Sunday night and a great Monday.